Welcome back to Extra Shot, the weekly pod spilling the funniest stories in sport. On the pod this week, Jens Lehmann's back in cuffs and a Man City midfielder banged up in Madrid. I am Zachary Sweeney-Lynch. With me again is George Cooper.
You alright, Zach? How's it going, man?
Yeah, very well, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. Good to be back. Jack will be back next week. He's busy sunning himself.
He certainly is. It's been a big week for you, George, the birthday boy.
Yeah, it has indeed.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. The big 3-0.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Feeling very 30. Yeah.
So the Champions League was back this week. Obviously, we're recording this on Wednesday, so we don't know the result of the big Aston Villa against Bayern tie. Obviously, that's a huge game for them. It's a repeat of the 1982 European Cup final. So obviously, the Aston Villa fans are pretty excited about this. Pretty excited to be back in the Champions League altogether. Did you see the clip of a choir of Aston Villa fans, which is made up mostly of older women, singing the Champions League theme tune?
I did, yeah. It was incredibly sweet. Should we play a blast of it now? Come on, the Villa!
Come on, Villa!
They should get them on the pitch to sing the teams out.
That would be great. It's a very sweet video. I'd say the average age is about 70.
Yeah, no, they're elderly. And I mean, most people seeing that video would think it's very, very sweet, but there are a few Birmingham City fans in the comments who are just absolutely slating them. Just going in 2-footed, being like, what the fuck is this? Fucking cringy shite.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit, but I do think it's quite cute. I don't think too many Bayern fans will be quaking in their boots about the trip to Villa Park after watching that. But it's sweet. There's parts of it that are quite good. I think when they go high, I think they sort of nail it.
Parts of it not so good,
parts
but
of it,
no, valiant effort.
They won't be
nonetheless.
making it onto songs of praise for you anytime soon.
Not without a bit of practice.
I wonder if they're familiar with the Champions League lyrics. Translated them, they are the champions, the master, the best.
Yeah,
a main event.
Very simple.
So it was PSG Arsenal on Tuesday night. Good result for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cardi B managed to sneak in with the Parisian ultras for that game. I don't know if you saw, she was at the PSG's last game, their home match against Rennes in Ligue 1. And Cardi B, she's hard as nails, really. She had that scrap with Nicki Minaj at New York Fashion Week a few years ago. She's got some pretty out there lyrics. So, Cardi was never really going to sit quietly in the padded seats at the Parc des Princes and nibble vol au vents while Nasser Al-Khelaifi wittered on about his new racehorse. And halfway through the game, she posted to her Instagram a video, sort of long range video, zooming in on the Parisian ultras in their stand, captioned, "Why they sat me on the boring side."
This side is mad quiet. Like, I don't want to sit with the bougie people. I want to sit with the rats. Sit me with the rats.
To be honest, I experienced similar emotions sat in the Putney end at Fulham, looking over at the Hammersmith end. When I look around
the
at
ratch,
I want to be the ratch.
The
ratch of the Fulham FC fan base.
All 12 of them.
It basically consists of a bunch of teenagers sat at the very back of H5. Yeah, I want to be with a ratch.
Yeah.
I love Cardi B. She's proper hard as nails from like Washington Heights, sort of like Brooklyn, that part of New York.
Yeah.
But I think she'd be right at home in amongst the PSG ultras.
Yeah, to be fair, she's got a point. Like the video that she puts up, it does look pretty dead where she's sat.
Yeah.
And I think there's some celebs who kind of like that. Like whenever you see David Beckham there, he seems to sort of slot right in, just like hobnobbing with the execs. But it's good to see that she's fighting back.
Cardi B's a gal of the people. I do love it when musicians, particularly rappers, just pop up randomly at football matches or like pledge their allegiance to certain sides. And you just think, where on earth where's that connection ever happened? Have you ever seen that footage of Snoop Dogg? I think it's from BBC Radio 1 sort of big weekend, which was hosted in Norwich, and he comes on stage wearing a Norwich City shirt. And you just think, where on earth has he got that from? And he's got
with the big Aviva sponsorship.
Yeah. I'd like to see how he got on at Carrow Road, like sort of like having a glass of Chardonnay with Delia Smith. Yeah,
I can imagine them getting on quite well. I mean, to be honest, Snoop Dogg pops up everywhere. I wouldn't put it past him at all.
Yeah. Also, he said at that concert that he was like, "Yeah, Norwich City, I fuck with them. They're my team. It's like, but he's also been photographed multiple times wearing loads of different shirts. So I don't know how much he's a bit of a mercenary, shall we say?
Yeah, he'd do an ad for anyone. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Probably while he's in Norwich, you reckon he probably did a couple of like
mustard ads or something.
You could do that seal boat tour. You go out and look at the seals, their nesting place.
I would watch that.
Snoop Dogg is the face of Bean's boat tours.
Yeah, just him wearing one of those waterproof sort of like bin bags.
A yellow one.
Yeah. Like, yo, if you look over to the left, you can see them seals.
Them motherfuckers be crazy. Look at that one's face. Yo.
Yeah, I love Snoop Dogg's Adventures in Norwich. That'd be a travel show that I'd definitely tune into.
To be honest, Snoop Dogg doing most stuff would be pretty entertaining as the Olympic organisers found.
Yeah, we were talking. I think we were talking in the office around the Olympics that we came up with a genius idea for an app just called "What's Snoop Dogg Up To?" And the idea is that you can pay a subscription. I don't know how the mechanics of it are going to work. There's the vision. Yeah. I'll leave it to the boffins to make it happen. But the idea is that you can turn the app on and just see what he's up to at any given moment.
Yeah, sort of like crowdsourced info. Just wherever you spot Snoop Dogg, you can upload. And is this going to become a stalking app? I think it could start out as a sort of quite cute project and develop quite a nefarious undercurrent quite quickly.
Perhaps. My idea was more, that train spotter on Instagram or TikTok, Francis Boudoir, who wears that sort of head cam that's just like on his face at all times. My idea was hook Snoop Dogg up with one of them. Then
that would be good,
you can see what he's up to at any given moment.
Just blazing it up, probably.
Yeah.
The other moment I enjoyed this week was at the Bournemouth-Southampton game on Monday night when it was miserable enough for Southampton fans. They travelled all that way and then saw their side lose 3-1. And then just as the clock was ticking to stoppage time, the stadium announcer got on the tannoy to let them know that the last train back to Southampton had been cancelled. Prompted a big cheer from the Bournemouth fans.
It's the sort of affliction like last train back to Southampton has been cancelled. It's got like it's even the announcer's so happy about it.
Yeah, it's cruel.
Some would argue maybe a tad unprofessional, but it's very funny.
I enjoyed the Bournemouth fans chant after that as well.
It's an absolute ball ache of a journey to get back.
Get back. It was through the New Forest.
New Forest, yeah.
It's a long, dark, and muddy walk.
You got to come up against wild horses, bogs, all sorts,
rabid red squirrels all over the place.
Yeah, it's like a medieval quest.
Yeah.
After a 3-1 defeat, that's a really nice. Yeah. It's a long night.
Actually, Yaz, our producer, who it seems has some excellent medieval knowledge, has just pointed out that the New Forest was where William II was shot with an arrow during a hunting accident, was it? Yeah, hunting accident. So maybe the poor Southampton fans might encounter the skewered ghost of William II. The journey home. Terrifying prospect.
Yeah.
So with Rodri out for the rest of the season, one of the players Pep Guardiola will be turning to is Matheus Nunes, the player they signed from Wolves. That, though, is if Nunes manages to avoid falling into a life of petty crime. So a story came out this week that Nunes was arrested in Madrid a few weeks ago after stealing a bloke's phone in a nightclub toilet. So apparently he'd been out with a group of mates in Madrid after, I think he didn't get into the Portugal squad for some internationals, so headed for a little weekend away, and apparently like lost the plot with this guy when he started trying to take photos of him in the nightclub toilets. So I don't know where in the toilets this was. I'm kind of picturing it as like a sort of like American high school movie where the guy like peers over the cubicle and Nunes is like halfway through a shit.
So like,
somewhere there are some brilliant photos of his like startled face.
Sort of like both hands over his crotch as he's looking up sheepishly.
He's going around school with that picture.
Yeah. It's like a proper bully circle. And then they're waiting for him, and as he opens the cubicle, they give him a swirly. Stick his head down the toilet and flush it.
Which, I mean, to be fair, if that's what happened, then I think it's kind of fair enough that he nicked his phone.
Yeah, I mean,
comeuppance.
I think if anyone's trying to take a photo of you in a toilet of anywhere, like that's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that is crossing a line.
It's inappropriate, even to ask for a selfie.
Yeah. It's a safe space.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah. So it didn't go down well with Nunes, clearly, and he like grabbed this guy's phone and wouldn't give it back. And I think like nightclub staff were like, after a while, like, look, come on, just give it back. And he refused. So they ended up calling the police, and Nunes was arrested and taken away in cuffs. So yeah, he's awaiting a court summons for that. So
for grabbing the phone back,
for stealing the phone.
Stealing the phone.
I think the police arrived and searched him, and he had this guy's phone on him. So yeah, he was taken away from the club in cuffs.
Oh shit.
Isn't quite what Pep Guardiola would have wanted from his Rodri substitute.
The photograph must have been pretty bad if he went to the length of stealing the phone. He'd rather
refusing to give. He'd rather spend a night banged up in Madrid jail than that one going around school. Actually, reminded me of a story that we missed over the summer about Derby's Nathan Mendes-Lang. So yeah, yes, we're tumbling down the
tiers, the football pyramid.
The scale of names at an alarming rate. But Nathan Mendes-Lang was on holiday in Magaluf this summer, where else? And he was also arrested for stealing a woman's phone in a nightclub. So she'd also apparently been taking pics of him, which, I mean, I don't know, who's not sure who's taking pictures of Nathan Mendes-Lang. To be honest,
just in the club, being like, "Is that
Derby County midfielder Nathan Mendes-Lang?" It's like, you go and talk to no, you go, you
follow him into the toilets.
Yeah. But yeah, it got a bit nasty, I think. So Nathan and his wife sort of roughed up this woman and nicked her phone and legged it out of the club. They did make the rookie error though of forgetting to switch off their Find My iPhone. And they were caught when the police rocked up to their villa and having just followed the GPS on the phone. So yeah, he's also been in trouble. That's actually not my favourite footballer thieving story though. That honour goes to Mr. Glen Johnson, who back in 2007 he was playing for Portsmouth, and Glenn and the Millwall striker Ben May were caught trying to steal a toilet seat from B&Q in Dartford.
It's just one of the most iconic shoplifting stories of all time, isn't it? It's like everything about it is just brilliant.
Apparently he's on 30 grand a week at the point, and this toilet seat cost 80 quid.
It's just,
and I think they like went to the checkouts and they like tried to pay for a couple of things and just slide this toilet seat underneath.
It's quite a cumbersome object to try and just sort of like slip through the conveyor belt without.
Can't really slip it down your pants. Actually, staying with the theme of crime, Oktoberfest is a hellish experience at the best of times for the overworked officers at Munich Polizei. So for this like 2-week period, their normally tranquil, quite posh city is taken over by hordes of drunken locals and lederhosen-clad tourists who are intent on getting as battered as humanly possible. So, you know, after a long shift retrieving stolen traffic cones and peeling paralytic Americans off the floor of Marienplatz, the last thing they needed was a run-in with local troublemaker Jens Lehmann. So the former Arsenal keeper had spent the night at one of the Oktoberfest tents. Revellers were reporting him necking steins of beer and dancing on the tables. And after this quite wild night, he decided to jump in the car home, and police caught him at the wheel. So, I'm picturing them, pulling over this car that's driving a bit erratically, and the window rolls down, and it's their nemesis, Jens Lehmann, and their heart just sinks. It's like, oh,
it's like
you again.
It's like the nuisance kid that just keeps getting into trouble.
He really is. He's
getting caught vandalising shit, like kicking over bins. You're like, oh, not Jens again. I've got a good mind to give you a clip round the ear and throw in your mum.
So they took him back to the station. He was still dressed in full lederhosen. Apparently he was so drunk that he was unable to breathe into the breathalyzer test, which isn't good. And took him back to the station and confiscated his license.
Yeah,
I think, to be honest, I think he must have only just got his license back, because we did a story before about, I think it was last year, he also got his license confiscated after repeatedly speeding under the barriers at Munich airport car park to avoid the €3 parking fee.
Well, so he sped under the barriers?
I think it was like, did the old speeding behind he's doing the underground barriers trick, really, but in the Munich airport car park, just speeding behind the last driver.
He's a vehicular menace. I mean, like, obviously drunk driving is no laughing matter at all, but like, to be so fucking paralytic getting in your car that you can't even do the breathalyzer, I mean, that is bad. You should not be behind a wheel. It reminds me of do you remember Hugo Lloris got arrested for drunk driving, and he'd been on a dinner with his Tottenham teammates at the time, and he was so pissed that when the police pulled him over, he'd been sick on himself in the car. You're like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, that is just.
Do you think at that point they're sort of like, I think the breathalyzer is sort of null and void, really, at that point. After the airport car park incident, the officers arrived at his house to confiscate his license, and Jens told one of them that she must have a malfunction in her brain, which must have been a bit awkward this time when he was back at the station and bumped into her behind the desk, and it's like, are you sure which one of us here is it that has the malfunction in their brain? Anyway, so that was a bad week already for Jens, but it was about to get worse. So the following morning, I imagine Jens woke up with a pretty splitting hangover.
Still in his lederhosen.
Yeah, still in his lederhosen, probably. No driving licence. And a letter dropped through the mailbox from Munich judiciary. So they finally got around to sentencing him for the time in 2022 when he broke into his neighbour's house and destroyed their garage with a chainsaw. He'd objected to his neighbour building this new garage because it supposedly blocked his view of a nearby lake, which, is quite annoying.
Yeah.
Most of us in that situation would maybe take it up with the relevant local authorities, but
bring it up at the AGM perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe go around and talk it over with the neighbour, and maybe over a pretzel and a vice beer.
Try and come to a mutual agreement, a compromise.
Exactly. But Jens took the nuclear approach of taking his chainsaw around in the dead of night and destroying the garage. So the Munich courts have finally got around to sentencing him for that. They've given him a 135 grand fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such an extreme measure to go to, isn't it? 135,000 euros, though.
It's a lot of money.
So it is a hell of a lot of money, yeah.
There was some talk at the time that the court had also ordered him to take an antisocial personality disorder test, which
seems about right.
Which, much like the breathalyzer to Hugo Lloris, I think when he's broken into his neighbour's house and destroyed their garage with a chainsaw, I think he's slightly past the antisocial personality disorder test. So celebrity gossip magazines are known for spinning a story out of nothing, really. They'll do a 6-page spread on Holly Willoughby's choice of leggings or Kerry Katona's new vajazzle. But I was flicking through a copy of Closer magazine this week, as I often do, and an article jumped out at me. So the title of this article is Christine Lampard, I Can't Do This Alone. And the subtitle says, insiders say Christine is feeling torn over husband Frank's possible career move. So naturally I was wondering what this possible career move would be. And the article goes on. It says that they've spoken to an insider who said, the odds of Frank being named England manager have shortened. Christine will support him no matter what, but she worries about how much their life would change if he did get the job. Now, I hate to break it to you, Christine, but Frank ain't getting nowhere near the England job.
Reminds me a bit of when Alan Pardew ruled himself out of contention. I think it was following Roy Hodgson's resignation. He released a statement saying, I'm ruling myself out of the running for England job.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
were you ever in the running? But like Frank Lampard, like his last two jobs have entailed almost getting Everton relegated and then almost getting Chelsea relegated, basically. I think he's probably got a better chance of getting a job hosting Loose Women with her than in the England dugout.
Yeah, I mean, like, where on earth did she got that idea from? I mean, you know, she's obviously very supportive wife, but I mean,
yeah. Do you think has Frank been coming home telling her that he's like, yeah, the odds have narrowed now? He's like, Frank, have you spent another day sitting around in your boxers watching daytime TV and playing FIFA? He's like, no, honestly, I'm going to get a job any day soon. Yeah, like England job, odds have shortened.
Also, I want to know who this insider is, because I've got a suspicion of who it could be. Somebody who's perhaps got form in this particular area.
Yeah. Is this a certain Rebecca Vardy?
Oh, I mean, I'll let you draw those dots. I'm just gonna leave those dots there. Yeah. I don't know. Perhaps I'm just throwing it out there. I've got no evidence to suggest that it is.
Actually, speaking of Chelsea legends and their wives, Tori Terry, John Terry's wife.
What a name, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great name. She posted a video this week of John sat behind a piano playing the piano and singing.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down.
He's actually not bad.
He's got a decent voice. Could see a link up with him and the Villa choir going well.
Yeah, where he was famously captain there for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah,
linking back up with his pals at Villa Park.
I did say he was playing and seeing. You can't actually see his hands moving. He sat behind the piano. His arms to me look suspiciously still, but
he's playing John Legend's instrumental piano instrumental.
It does sound a little bit like he's coming out of his phone. I don't know. Maybe he is.
Also, one of the lyrics is "You've driven me in and now you're kicking me out," which I feel like he's perhaps got experience, which is why he's able to sing the lyrics with such emotion.
Yeah, he's been there.
He's been there. He's felt that pain before.
My favourite comment on the Instagram video was, "Did not know Wayne Bridge had a piano."
That would be brazen, wouldn't it? Just have a little tinkle on the ivories before you gather your jeans.
It's on my way out, you know. I don't think that ever happened. I think the whole Wayne Bridge, Vanessa Parancel, John Terry thing was a stitch up.
Do you?
Yeah,
I
won't go into it. So
yeah, what about how do you explain the handshake?
John Terry's a dirty dog.
But the handshake.
What's that?
Wayne Bridge refused to shake his hand.
So yeah, but I think Wayne Bridge thinks it happened, but
you think that he's innocent?
So there's quite a few interviews with Vanessa Parancel, which explain her side of the story, and I for one believe her.
Are you Team JT?
I'm not
a tabloid scandal that happened.
I'm Team Vanessa Parancel. The Wayne Bridge story was a stitch up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. This is your stance on a tabloid scandal that happened 15 years ago.
That is the hill I will die on.
Finger on the pulse here at Upshot Towers.
So it's often said that footballers who move to Saudi Arabia are selling out. You know, the quinoa munching pansies of the White Brigade will tell you that they're swallowing bags of cash just to promote the sports washing agenda of a despotic regime. So it was refreshing to see the former England defender Chris Smalling prove them wrong this week. So Chris has only been at Saudi side Al Fayed for a few weeks, and he's already showing his passionate knowledge for local infrastructure projects. So Chris did a post on Twitter last week about the Line, which is this new city that they're building in Saudi Arabia. So Chris, clearly in his own words, has written, "The Line, a cognitive city stretching across 170 kilometres. From the mountains of Neom across the desert valley to the Red Sea, a mirrored architectural masterpiece towering 500 metres above sea level." It goes on, I won't read the whole thing. But, you know, I just think it's so inspiring to see him so invested in the, you know, Saudi state infrastructure projects of his new home. It's
I shudder to think how much he got paid for that particular post.
I think he's just genuinely, you know, honestly, you should hear his thoughts on the pedestrianisation of Riyadh city centre. He's got some very, very strong opinions on that one.
The photograph as well. He does look like he's got a pistol being held to the smalls of his back.
He does. He's got a sort of like weak smile.
Yeah, like weak smile. Like he's trying to
he's very tense as well.
In his eyes, he's trying to say help. Yeah. I mean, he's sold out.
Possibly he has. Yeah, it's funny. He's also famously a vegan as well.
Who Chris Smalling is? Yeah. He always comes across as like a lovely guy. Loves his architecture. Loves his, you know, redevelopment into local infrastructure. Who would you say football's biggest sellout is?
I mean, Jordan Henderson.
Oh, Henderson's a good shout. The sellout sultan is Snoop Dogg, as we mentioned earlier. Have you seen the advert that he's done with Harry Kane recently for Skechers?
No.
Check these out, Harry. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. They're incredible. You just step in and they're on. No bending down. You don't have to tie them up.
I must be dreaming.
No, mate, they're real.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Well, if I'm not dreaming, why is Snoop Dogg here?
I don't think this is a dream.
No, fool. Skechers slip-ins are the real deal. I got a show at the stadium tonight.
Ah, that makes sense.
And they
Go hands-free with Skechers slip-ins.
Forgot to mention Jamie Redknapp also features in that advert. So Harry Kane, Jamie Redknapp, and Snoop Dogg. Name a more iconic trio. Yeah,
that was great.
I just want to know what they spoke about in the green room.
I was going to say they looked very much like Snoop Dogg has been superimposed into that advert, but
like a Snoop Dogg hologram. Like he's like Tupac at Coachella, but Snoop Dogg's just doing sketches adverts.
To be honest, I think he probably would do that. I'm predicting that actually that Snoop Dogg will do hologram adverts from beyond the grave.
Or just continue to. Yeah, there was quite a funny YouTube comment on that video saying, "Was this advert written by contestants on The Apprentice?"
So Russian athletes have been banned from world sport for the last 5 years. They've missed the Olympics, they missed the World Cup, the Euros. Pretty heartbreaking for them. The Olympic ban obviously came about because there was this huge state-sponsored doping program that was uncovered. Basically sounds like they've been feeding athletes steroids like foie gras geese or something. And then obviously the Ukraine invasion didn't exactly help. So when state TV sat down with former Olympic skier Yelena Valba, they were keen to pick her brains on what she thought might have to happen for Russia to be allowed back into international competition. You know, perhaps they could implement a rigorous testing regime or invite the IOC along to do a tour of their Olympic HQ, or just stop pummeling the Donbass with ballistic missiles. But Yelena had another idea.
Мне кажется, если бы мы какую-нибудь серьезную бомбу кинули в центр Лондона,
what she has said there is, I think it would all end if we dropped a bomb on London city centre. If we did that, we would have been allowed to participate in all competitions by now. I love it when the country is strong.
My God.
What is the thought process there? It's like we're banned from the Olympics, so it's nuke London.
Yeah, it's a fight fire with fire strategy. I'll give her that. Also, isn't Olympic HQ in Lausanne anyway? It's in Switzerland. It's not even in London. I don't know what London is like. they don't hold
catching some strays here. Yeah,
they don't hold any of the decision making, as far as I'm aware.
Maybe she's caught wind that Seb Coe is gonna become the new IOC president. He's standing for that, I think.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so maybe she's getting ahead of the game.
Just cut the head off the snake.
Yeah.
Get Lord Co.
Yeah. She's a pretty big deal though. So she's won 3 Olympic gold medals and I think something like 14 gold medals at World Championships.
Like legends, Olympic legends.
Yeah, cross country skier.
What would be like the Team GP equivalent?
What was like Paula Radcliffe coming out and saying we should nuke St. Petersburg.
Yeah, it's a mad story. But she's got previous in this, I believe, hasn't she? Old, is it Yelena?
Yelena, yeah.
Yeah, she's a vociferous Putin supporter and warmonger by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I think her dad is Ukrainian and they're now estranged.
Fucking.
So I think that possibly something to do with her opinions on the matter.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's for sure.
So I thought we'd end with a little game this week, George, if you're up for it.
Yeah.
So there was a tweet going around last week from Olaf Falafel, the comedian, where he basically gone through Facebook and found Americans whose names sound like Carabao Cup ties. For example, Burton Preston.
Right, nice. What sort of guy is Burton Preston? So he's head of your local church.
I think he owns a MAGA cap. He's got his NRA membership card.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd play a game where you have to guess, is this an American on Facebook or a tie from this year's Carabao Cup?
Okay, cool. I think I'm at a slight advantage that I've been somewhat across the Carabao, but I've not been like watching every game and following the results too heavily.
Right,
so I think
no cheating.
Yeah, I'm not cheating.
However you could cheat. All right, first one. Preston Harrogate.
Preston Harrogate. I'm gonna say that's a Carabao Cup tie.
It is.
Okay,
well
cool.
Next one. Charlton Bradford.
Charlton Bradford is I'm gonna go Carabao Cup tie
It's
again.
actually an American.
Is it?
Yeah, an American. Leicester Bolton.
Leicester Bolton. I'm going to go for an American on Facebook.
It is an American on Facebook. Very good. Chelsea Barrow.
Chelsea Barrow. She's a girl that you'd have had a crush on at high school. Part of the cheerleading squads.
You go
Refuted
American.
your advances because she's devout Christian and no sex before marriage. Chelsea Barrow it's a Carabao Cup tie. They won like 7-0.
They won 5-0.
5-0, yeah.
I do think I do like your description of Chelsea Barrow there. Leighton Newport.
Leighton Newport is an American on Facebook.
It's not.
Is it?
It was. I'm slightly short on it. It's Leighton Orient Newport. But,
you should have said Leighton Orient Newport. I
think we get away with Leighton Newport. It was a Carabao Cup tie in the second round. Forest Bromley.
Forest Bromley is a... This is an American on Facebook.
It is.
Yeah. Good guy for a salt of the earth.
Great runner.
Yeah.
Okay. Burton Blackpool.
Burton Blackpool's got to be a Carabao Cup tie.
It is a Carabao Cup tie. Last one.
My name's Burton Blackpool. How do you do, sir?
Yeah, he definitely owns a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Burton Blackpool. And the last one for you, Lincoln Burnley.
Lincoln Burnley is that's an American on Facebook.
It is an American on Facebook. God, you're pretty good at this.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is what a game.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me a lot.
I wasn't really keeping track, but I think you did pretty well there.
Yeah. Would that have won a penalty shootout, that performance?
Possibly against Harrogate.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Nice. I think that's all we've got time for. Okay, thank you, George.
Pleasure as always. Always fun stepping in. Jack will be back next week, so all of you on the subreddit can calm the fuck down. Back on the bench, yeah. After my run out.
It's been you filled in with aplomb.
Oh, mate, cheers. Yeah, see you next time.
See you next time.